tryouts are second chances. February reminds us we could change our circumstances.
We give thanks to the athletes who took big risks, who beat the odds despite being oddballs because of their skin. Some may never get recognition. But to change the status quo, you have to be willing. When silence is comfortable. Speaking out is an act of resistance. This is the month we remember.
But more importantly, we dream
of something bigger.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick Peterson with the Minnesota Vikings.
And Brian McFadden with CBS Sports HQ.
Don't forget to check out all things covered every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms.
The topics you want to hear, monster guests, and much, much more all season long.
Skull Nation, I appreciate you. Make sure to smash the subscribe button and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Pick Six podcast on CBS Sports HQ, presented by Expedia, made to travel. It is Thursday. We are over the hump, and it is now an easy slide down towards Super Bowl 57. Our buildup towards the big game continues down in Arizona, and it is that time. The Pick Six pod coming your way. Will Brinson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jenny Dell. We out here again for another Pick Six podcast show presented by Expedia, made to travel. Will Brinson, John Breech, and Ryan Wilson. A little bit different scene behind us today, gentlemen. A lot of people having fun doing the Super Bowl experience thing. Fun fact, I was thrown out of the Super Bowl experience this morning.
That is the least surprising thing I have heard this week.
I agree. We're going to do some props today. How we feeling?
I feel pretty good.
I feel great.
I took a nap, so I'm ready to go.
Why'd you need a nap?
Because we're on mountain time. My body doesn't understand it.
Let's dive right in with some prop bets. How about it?
Let's do it.
I'm in.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Breech? Wait, why'd you guys switch seats?
That's how Miranda wanted it, and we do what Miranda asks us to do.
Well, we were trying to confuse Brinson, and it has worked. You look at his face right now?
This violates your restraining order against me. Breech, give us a prop. We're going to start with yardage props, by the way. Yardage props for, of course, Super Bowl 57. We are in Phoenix, obviously. You can see behind us the Super Bowl experience. I see a Spike the Spud football potato guy, a Brian Urlacher jersey, all kinds of stuff. Who you got? First yardage prop, Breech.
All right, here's my first yardage prop. Will Jalen Hurts throw a pass longer than 37.5 yards? I say yes. And the reason I love this one is because, A, he has Devontae Smith, he has A.J. Brown, and you have these two guys going up against a young Chiefs secondary. It only takes one long pass for this to happen, and I think it's going to happen.
I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback.
Yeah, heard of him.
Over 294.5 passing yards.
Wow.
So over. So
that's not. I'm not wowing. By the way, I'm not wowing that pick. I'm wowing the number. That number has climbed up. It was like 281, I think, when it opened. It's going up to 294. People are hammering the over on this Mahomes yardage prop, and I like it though because there's multiple ways you can get there.
Yeah, 11 times this season he's thrown for over 294.5. He averaged 308.8. If you round up to 309 Breech on the season. And, of course, he has this thing that we call an ankle injury. He's 2 weeks removed from playing on it when he suffered it against the Bengals there. And I think, was it the Bengals who he suffered that ankle injury?
No, he re-aggravated it against the Bengals.
The week before he suffered it.
Yeah.
And so he's 3 weeks removed from it. And, of course, he'll be healthier, but I think he's going to be more inclined to be pass happy. And if they get down because of the Eagles going out on top, there's more reason to throw the ball there. So I'm going over 2, 9, 4.5.
Well, a friend of the podcast, Brady Quinn, has pointed out that he put it out yesterday, Ryan, up here with us, that the Chiefs view the short passing game as sort of an extension of the running game. And so you can end up with getting a bunch of these overs with Mahomes, particularly the passing yardage, because they're probably not going to run a ton. Like in a perfect world, they run with Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, and they're able to get downhill and pound the football. It's not a perfect world, and the Eagles' defense is very good and will probably force Mahomes to throw the ball a lot. I expect the ball to get out quickly, and you got guys who can pick up yards after the catch. I'm going to take it over as well, but I'm going to go to the Eagles when I start with this one, and I'm going to take... Actually, you know what? I'll go with the Chiefs because it kind of matches up with Ryan Wilson's. Juju Smith-Schuster over receiving yards, 36.5. Juju has disparaged the city of Philadelphia. He has disparaged the good name of cheesesteaks everywhere. But he is a perfect short yardage usage guy. We talk about getting the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands quickly, getting it out early, avoiding contact from those rushers with that ankle. Juju Smith-Schuster underneath in the slot, quick hitters. I like the over there. By the way, since I gave it out on the Pick Six podcast audio episode, the Pick Show with Pete and RJ, it's gotten juiced up. So go ahead and get it in now.
The old Brinson bump hit again.
What do you think about that, Breech?
I like it. I think that the Mahomes one I like because, like you said, it works either way. If the Chiefs are getting blown out and you have to throw a lot, you hit it. But if the Chiefs are leading, it's probably because Mahomes is having a big game. And if he's having a big game, then like Brinson just said, that ties directly into the Juju's prop. And boom, they both hit.
All right, give me another one.
All right, we're sticking with the yards. I'm going to stick with Patrick Mahomes here. I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes goes over 18.5 rushing yards. He did that 10 times this season. And look, I know what you're thinking. He's got a bum ankle. How's he going to do that? Well, I think that's going to work to his advantage because the Eagles' defense isn't going to be so worried about him taking off and running. And I think it's only going to take 4 or 5 scrambles for him to hit 19 yards. And I think we'll see him do that. He loves to take off. He does it, and it's going to happen.
What's the yardage number again?
18.5.
All right, I'm going to go 1 yard more with someone else in that backfield. Jerick McKinnon over 19.5 rushing yards. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire's active. We don't know what that's going to look like. Isaiah Pacheco has been sort of the go-to guy the last half of the season or so and had a great run as that rookie 7th-round pick. But we know that the Eagles' defense is stout. Jerick McKinnon is a change of pace, and if he only need 19.5, and he did that 6 times over the season. And while in recent weeks he wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire because they found other ways to win, I think it only takes 1 end around. It only takes 1 run up the middle, and you can get halfway there, and then 3 or 4 more carries, you got the 19.5.
Could also see like an easy draw to McKinnon, like a 3rd and long, where the Eagles drop back. They're playing a little soft prevent to avoid giving up a, the 3rd and 15 or something like that.
Yep.
And he just rips off a 12-yard run. I'm going to do something similar, but kind of different. And I'm going to go Kenneth Gainwell receiving yards. So, like not a scat back, but a change of pace back in Kenneth Gainwell over. I'm kind of stunned by this number, to be perfectly honest. His receiving yard number is 11.5. Are you kidding me? Minus 121 to the over. Gainwell has been a good usage guy. I love Gainwell in this game. I think now look, even if the Eagles if the Eagles are up big, it's going to be tough to get there with the receiving yards. However, this is a guy who could be an easy dump-off option. We've seen Jalen Hurts' accuracy down the field has suffered dramatically since that shoulder injury. Would not be surprised at all if the Eagles try to get the ball out of his hands, into his weapons, in short yardage areas in order to ease the burden on that accuracy with his shoulder. Got another one for us, Breech?
I do have another one. I'm glad you asked, Brinson. I have Pacheco going over 68.5 rushing and receiving yards. So, look, if Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball a lot, we know the Eagles pass rush, how good it is. So we could have checkdowns, we could have screens, whatever it is. I think he is going to touch the ball a lot through the air. Obviously, he will also get a few carries. And I think 68.5 seems like almost too low. He hit that number in both playoff games, went well over in both playoff games. So I think he is going to finish it off by going 3 for 3 and going over this number 3 times.
Gronkowski thinks it's a half yard too low.
By the way, shout out to us for going only overs. Real sharps here. Real sharps.
It's going to change.
Oh, what you got?
Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
50.5 rushing yards. Going under.
I like that.
Now, obviously, he did it a handful of times during the season. I count 7 as I look at it here, but the situation's changed with the shoulder injury. I think that the Chiefs will key on trying to slow him down and perhaps making him win down the field, which we know he can do consistently through the course of the season. But I don't think they want to lose the run game battle, and that starts with slowing down Jalen Hurts. The injury's going to play a part. If he takes a big hit early, that could obviously change things. We could have the same conversation about Patrick Mahomes and his ankle. But I'm going under 50.5 rushing yards. It's at minus 121.
Do you think that the Jalen Hurts over-under rushing yards, like, does the game script affect? I mean, let me rephrase. I think the game script could affect that. For instance, if the Eagles are losing and trailing and forced to come back, obviously he's going to have to throw more. But I feel like at that point, Hurts will be more willing to sacrifice his body to not worry about the shoulder injury and to run the football more if need be. So that would be my only. I agree with you. I like that under. It's actually creeped up a bit, which is kind of surprising. I think that's indicative that maybe Hurts is a little healthier than we thought. But I agree with you. I like the under. Only would be a little bit worried if they were trailing. Finally, speaking of, I'm going to go 3 overs. Just what a chalk donkey I am. A.J. Brown over receiving yards 71.5, minus 121. A.J. Brown, as we all know, I hold dear to my heart.
What's his
Very
name?
dear.
Arthur Juan Brown.
He got it for the first time until Thursday. He finally got it.
He got it.
That's one they asked me twice. A.J. Brown, wide receiver 1 in my heart. Love him more than probably 60% of my family. And he's going to have a big game in this one.
Thankfully, that number's creeped up since the last time you used that joke. So that's good.
It's creeped down, right? A.J. Brown over 71.5 receiving yards. He has been really, really quiet the last few weeks in the playoffs. He had a little bit of a squeaky wheel factor going on early in the playoffs. I think they get him involved often and early, and they throw down the field. Hurts connects, especially if the Chiefs load up to try to stop the run. A.J. Brown, the perfect guy to take the top off, force that defense to back up, and then you can start to work that ground game and get it going. Any more yardage props for you fellas?
That's all I got. I came with 3, Breech. What do you have?
That's all I was.
All right.
I was told to bring 3. I bet Brinson's got a bonus 1.
I don't, actually. Why would you suggest that I have a bonus 1 if I was told to bring 3? That's very rude of you.
Brinson never does extra credit.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some news around the NFL. There's always something happening when it comes to professional football, and we'll fill you in with what's going on around the league. Coming up next here on the Pick Six Podcast Show on CBS Sports HQ.
90, LeBron James, recently crowned as the league's all-time leading scorer, will take the night off. The Lakers list the King as out with left ankle soreness for tonight's game against the Bucks. Anthony Davis is listed as probable with his lingering foot injury. Celtics All-Star Jaylen Brown is expected to be sidelined through the All-Star break with a facial fracture. That's according to The Athletic. He took an inadvertent elbow from Jason Tatum during Boston's win over the Sixers Wednesday night. Brown was set to meet with the specialist today to determine the next course of action. Elsewhere, the Golden State Warriors say that superstar guard Steph Curry will be reevaluated after the All-Star break. Curry suffered a partial ligament tear in his left leg earlier this week against the Mavs. The Warriors have 3 games left before the break against the Lakers, Wizards, and Clippers. And San Diego Padres have come to terms with a 6-year, $108 million contract extension with 36-year-old right-hander Yu Darvish. That's been confirmed by our MLB insider Jim Bowden. The deal runs through the 2028 season when Darvish turns 42 years old. Darvish was 16-8 for San Diego last season with a 3.10 ERA.
Hitting pay dirt, it's worthy of a celebration for both players and bettors. And a matchup of two high-powered offenses, anytime touchdown bets can be an easy way to cash in on Super Bowl Sunday. Atop the odds board is Travis Kelce, and for good reason. Kelce is tied for second all-time with 15 receiving touchdowns in the playoffs, scoring in 5 straight and in all but 2 of his 17 career postseason games. The last time he was held without a touchdown, it was Super Bowl 55 in that loss to the Bucs. On the Eagles side, you can find plus money on Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders. They're the first pair of teammates in NFL history with 13 or more rushing touchdowns in a single season. Hurts and Sanders have both scored twice thus far in the postseason. And if you're looking for longer odds, check out a banged-up Chiefs receivers room where MVS could be the beneficiary. He scored in both playoff games with KC and reeled in 6 catches for 116 yards versus Cincinnati.
Thank you, Katie Box. Welcome back to the Big Six Podcast Show, presented by Expedia, made to travel. Here at the Super Bowl, Will Brinson, John Breech, and Ryan Wilson. Feeling good out here. It feels great. There's some tunes in the, I don't know if you can hear the tunes in the background, but there's a lot of music. Just spotted Kenny White showed up. I mean, my goodness gracious, what a time to be alive.
Eric Casillas is dancing right off camera here. I mean, look at this guy.
And I think I hear a marching band right now, which is great background music.
Jason Day's 1 under through 1. We got to keep the dream alive for this little parlay I got going. Let's talk some touchdown scores, though. Anytime touchdown score. As in, you just got to score a touchdown at any point in the Super Bowl. You get various odds, of course, for the players. Travis Kelce, probably the favorite. I believe Jalen Hurts, the next guy up. Who you got, Breech?
Here, I want to quickly, mine is going to be Joe Burrow. Go ahead.
That's not fun. It's insulting.
As you can see on
why you got to hurt my feelings?
Juju Smith-Schuster 2-1. Jarrett McKinnon around the same. MVS similar. Kadarius Toney, a lot of buzz for him. Breech on Thursday, specifically coming for the Chiefs. There's a report that there's a lot of stuff in the Chiefs' offensive package for Kadarius Toney. Are you going Toney? Or are you going somebody else?
Well, we're looking at these odds right here. I love the 2 quarterbacks. I know that Jalen Hurts maybe not great value, but look, we saw the numbers earlier. 15 rushing touchdowns this year, including the postseason, which is the most by a quarterback in NFL history. If they get anywhere near the end zone, once they're in the red zone, Jalen Hurts is the threat to scamper in and score a touchdown. And then obviously you get much better odds with Patrick Mahomes at plus 325, and it's the same thing. Patrick Mahomes, they get inside the 10-yard line, he'll take off and he will run in. He has no problem doing that. And like we were saying earlier, the Eagles might not be looking out for him to take off because of his ankle. So it might be there. So I like Hurts and Mahomes. Sorry, I took 2, Wilson.
I'm sorry that I made that cheap shot joke about Joe Burrow and the Bengals, because I'm a Steelers homer and my team is now worse than the Bengals somehow. So I take.
And you're stuck with Kenny Pickett for the next 20 years.
And you just apologize on air. I can clip it. I'm going to put it in my Twitter feed. This is amazing.
So I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco. I mentioned in the last segment, Jerick McKinnon, the over 19.5. Pacheco, I think, is going to do most of the damage. We know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active, but who knows what role he plays, because he's now at least 3rd on the depth chart at running back. So I'm going Isaiah Pacheco. I think he's got plenty of opportunities. I have Patrick Mahomes going over the passing number we talked about, but I think there's a really good chance that Pacheco scores. I think there'll be a lot of points in this game, and there's going to be opportunities for him to get the ball and pick it to the end zone, and that's when you get 6 points, Breech.
Look, nobody loves getting adorable when it comes to touchdown props more than yours truly. It's really like one of my passions in life to just, can't just take the easy way out. Got to get cute. Got to go find somebody with some big odds to hit a home run. We ain't doing that. It's the Super Bowl. We're going to go meat and potatoes. And Travis Kelce.
Playing it conservative.
It's not conservative. It's just a layup. Look at this Chiefs roster. MVS, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, and Kadarius Toney are their top 2 receiving options outside of Kelce, who, as we saw from that, the package that Katie Box broke down, 2nd all-time in every single receiving yardage or touchdown stat in postseason history, behind only the GOAT, Jerry Rice. Travis Kelce is going to score a touchdown in this game, and it's only minus 114 to get Travis Kelce to score a touchdown. But we don't stop there. No.
Uh-oh. And there's more.
But wait, there is more. But wait, I actually have a little Billy Mays vibe going on.
Yeah, you're selling some vinyl siding. What else
But
you got?
wait, there's more. We're going Travis Kelce, 2 touchdown scores.
What?
Plus 490, 5-1, 2 touchdown scores. But wait, there's even more.
There can't be more.
There can't be.
There can't.
This is
There-
impossible.
There's always money in the banana stand, guys. And we're going Travis Kelce, 3 touchdowns.
What?
Okay. Now somebody's do a drug test.
Please don't. 23-1. Travis Kelce, 3 touchdown scores.
I can follow that, but not with quite the vim and vigor. I'll go multiple touchdown scores with my guy MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, because I have him scoring 2 touchdowns and all the packages we talked about that'll be airing on Super Bowl Sunday. So that's plus 1,600, or at least it was the last time I saw it. Not quite as insane as what Brinson has cooking over there, but it is certainly out there to think that MVS could be a game changer. Had the big game in the AFC Championship game. They signed him to a pretty big deal, and he wasn't exactly what they wanted week in and week out, but stood up on the biggest stage, Breech. So MVS, at least 2 touchdowns.
Well, and it's not crazy to think about the fact that if it plays out like the AFC Championship, where the Bengals were so focused on Travis Kelce, they just completely forgot that Marquez Valdez-Scantling existed. And so if the Eagles do something similar, then certainly that could happen. My multiple touchdown bet is similar to Brinson's, that I'm taking the same guy who I had for my anytime touchdown. That is Jalen Hurts. Look, if he's going to score 1 touchdown, why not just score 2 touchdowns? And guess what? He played 15 games this year. He scored multiple touchdowns 3 times. So this happened with some regularity during the regular season. And I think he's going to be out trying to make some big plays in the Super Bowl. And I think he's going to get multiple touchdowns, and it's plus 575. What do you think of that, Brinson?
I love it. This is a guy in Jalen Hurts that when the Eagles get down near the goal line, when it's time to get into, when you get deep into the red zone, when you need to score, they don't care if it's from the 3-yard line, the 5-yard line, the 2-yard line. They are going to sneak him and run him up the middle. You jam Hurts in there. I like it a lot. Not as much as my Kelce pick, but I like it a lot. Now, the best sweat, they're the 2 best sweats in all of gambling, and it's not even close. One is the first round leader bet. You bet in a golf tournament, you bet the first round leader, you sweat so hard when that guy gets into first, and you got to watch like 50 golfers come through and threaten to beat him. But the other one that's more like NFL-ish, or it's literally NFL-ish, but it's instant gratification, the first touchdown scorer. When you hit that first touchdown scorer and your guy gets in the end zone first before anyone else, it is true gambling bliss. So,
It's the reverse golf sweat.
It is a reverse golf sweat.
There you go.
It's not the long sweat, it's the short sweat. We have the odds up here. Travis Kelce, you can see 5 plus 550, the odds on favorite. Jalen Hurts plus 575. Miles Sanders, look, I'll be honest, that many people shouldn't be under 20-1. Some of those odds are terrible. Noah Gray, 19-1? Come on. Throw us a bone here. Who you got, Breech?
All right, my favorite, I'm going to pull the Brinson here with the last one, the meat and potatoes. I'm taking Travis Kelce to score the first touchdown. We have seen the numbers. Look, he has the 2nd most postseason touchdowns in NFL history. Him and Patrick Mahomes have combined for the 2nd most of any QB receiving duo. So it's just Travis Kelce. I'm not going to overthink this one.
There's no explanation, really, and that's pretty much the case with mine, who was just behind Travis Kelce on the leaderboard that we just saw. To keep the golf reference going, Jalen Hurts. Still 575 on the plus side. We know all the things that he can do. We know he's banged up, but as Brinson just noted, he can run a sneak from 1, 2, 3 yards out. Just as long as he doesn't do it from 50.5 yards out. Anything short of that, I think it's a possibility. So my favorite, Brinson, is Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown first.
I like it. I already banged the table for Travis Kelce, right? Multiple touchdown scores. I have to go with the meat and potatoes and Travis Kelce. And look, I mean, traditionally speaking, I like to look at 30-1 or longer to what really 20-1 or longer for first touchdown scores. I think that's where you want to find the market because you get the most value. You don't have to like if you put a full unit on Travis Kelce to be the first touchdown scorer, and the Eagles score first, you banged, right? So you may want to find longer shots. In this case, with this market, this high profile of a game, the odds have shrunk dramatically where everybody's basically 20-1. So it makes a lot of sense to go back to the top of the board and hit Travis Kelce at plus 550.
Yep.
That's pretty good odds for the guy who is going to be the preeminent red zone target for the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that scripts games really, really well. Andy Reid coming off a bye.
Andy Reid off the bye. Andy Reid off the bye.
How dare you not dance, Wilson?
I
How dare
apologize.
you?
I apologize.
I like Kelsey.
He doesn't remember the song.
He didn't remember the song.
Even though it's only 4 words.
Lyrics are complex, buddy.
Yes.
As far as a longer shot, I'm going to mention mine first because I know that's the same as Breech's, and I'm going to
The value pick, if you will.
A value pick, if you will. Yeah, sorry, value pick. There's no really actually long shots on there. I like Kenneth Gainwell. He was 15-1. It looks like he's 12-1 on our board, so maybe me mentioning him just in producer Jack's ear over the phone shrunk his odds down. I think Gainwell, again, I love Gainwell props this week. I love Gainwell to score a touchdown. I love Gainwell first touchdown scorer. 12-1's fine, 15-1, very good. Kenneth Gainwell for me. Breech, anybody, you got anybody different?
Well, this is classic. Brinson didn't do his homework, and now he's copying all my answers. Travis Kelce, favorite for the first TD. Kenneth Gainwell was my value
And by
pick.
the way, the teacher grades his paper first and thinks you cheated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And I get the F, and I get kicked out as Spike, the giant football, sits down and watches us. Here is... I'm just going to go to my long shot. I'm going to ignore Brinson's Kenneth Gainwell. I'm going to go with Boston Scott at plus 2,100. And you know what?
That's your value?
No, that is my value and my long shot.
Oh,
my
both, okay.
value was Kenneth Gainwell, but I didn't want to copy off Brinson, who
Okay.
copied off me.
Right.
So I'm going to just shoot and go straight to Boston Scott. Here's the thing. He is plus 2,100, even though he has scored a touchdown in 3 straight playoff games. So he is on a streak. Sirianni loves to get that guy the ball inside the 10-yard line. And so if it's not a Jalen Hurts QB sneak, I like Boston Scott's chances. They love giving the ball down there.
No, I like that too. I like both your picks there. I'm going to go with Juju Smith-Schuster at plus 1,000 the last time I saw it. We'll see what it is here in a second on the graphic. But here's the thing about Juju Smith-Schuster, and he sort of made himself famous for doing this in Pittsburgh early in his career, near the goal line, shovel pass. We see Travis Kelce do that all the time with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. If they're finding a way to shut down Travis Kelce, then that could be an opportunity for Juju Smith-Schuster to get a 2-yard shovel pass and run into the end zone between the tackles, and that feels certainly very doable, and I like the 10-1 break.
Classic Wilson picking former Steeler to bet on. Not surprised at all.
That checks out. Wilson, a traditional homer, well-known homer. Breech, what about your long shot to score?
I'll do the long shot if you want, Breech.
Boston Scott.
Brinson was furiously checking leaderboard while you were talking about the long shot.
No, actually, I was looking up. I was trying to text producer Jack to let him know that I'm changing my long shot pick.
Oh,
that
also checks out.
Yeah, that's
mid-show.
I haven't thrown one curveball at the producers, like an actual curveball at the producers yet this week. So I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, go for it.
This is off the radar. No one's looking for this, but this is so Andy Reid-esque to get the ball to an unexpected guy in a jumbo package. You look at Blake Bell, the tight end, the Belldozer, if you will, as you know, coming out of Oklahoma, and I will too. The Belldozer coming out of Oklahoma, 60-1 to score the Chiefs' first touchdown. So it doesn't even have to be the first touchdown. Eagles could score 5 times, and as long as Blake Bell scores the first Chiefs touchdown, this is classic Andy Reid. You get down near the goal line, you line up 3 tight ends, you have all the attention, all the focus on Travis Kelce, and you leak out Noah Gray or Blake Bell, 60-1. First Chiefs touchdown. I love it.
That's juicy.
I should have gone first because now I'm...
Oh, do you have Blake Bell? Is he still in the now?
No. This won't be quite as exciting, but there is some excitement factor in this thing here, Breech. Patrick Mahomes.
Oh!
Because, again, the ankle. Now, I haven't going over the 294.5 that we've talked about already. But, again, we saw it against the Bengals during the regular season. I think he did the jump over the line and scored the touchdown, and the ball got knocked out, and it was bang-bang. But those are the type of things that Patrick Mahomes do. We talked earlier about Jalen Hurts toughing it out, especially if they're down late and taking opportunities to run the football even though he has a shoulder injury. I think there's exactly no reason that Patrick Mahomes won't do the same thing if the game's on the line. Breech, you saw that a few years ago in the Buccaneers-Chiefs Super Bowl where he was trying to do everything from all sorts of angles because he was getting killed with the lack of the offensive line there. I think the offensive line here is better, obviously, this week. But I think with the ankle, there's an opportunity for a short yardage touchdown. I like the plus 1,600.
I will say the one thing with that, though, Wilson, which I feel like it'd have to be a 3 or 5 yard run because it feels like with the ankle, if they're at the 1 yard line, that Andy Reid might think twice before calling for the sneak. Because a lot of times, they'll have Travis Kelce line up under center, and then he'll sneak in.
Or a Juju shovel pass.
Or a Juju shovel pass. So you're just win-win-win. He's setting himself up.
I dig it. All right. All we're doing is win-win-win out here. That's what the show does. Win-win-win. No matter what. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more Super Bowl props to propaganda here on the Pick Six Podcast Show on CBS Sports HQ. Next. Welcome back to the Big Six Podcast Show, presented by Expedia, made to travel here on CBS Sports HQ. Glorious Phoenix. You should travel here, courtesy of Expedia sometime. Fantastic city, fantastic time, fantastic way to host the Super Bowl. Will Brinson, John Breech, Ryan Wilson doing our prop extravaganza show. Breaking down our favorite yardage props. We've given you our favorite touchdown props. And now we're just going to give you our favorite general props. We might even get quirky later. Get quirky with it?
Yeah.
It's a little known B-side from Will Smith.
Never heard of him.
Who was that?
He was in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ah, yes.
Has he ever attended the Academy Awards?
Yes.
Okay.
By the way,
I know who he is.
Fun fact, I was often confused for Carlton growing up.
I believe that.
So make it that way.
I've been often confused for a young Ben Affleck.
That's actually, nobody's ever done that. You paid that lady to do that.
Yes.
By the way, the Carlton thing, that's the funniest thing you ever said.
Wait till you see the Carlton dance
later.
later.
Do the dance?
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's call him Alfonso.
All right, let's go. All
right.
I got a family. That man has a family.
Not for long.
No, right.
All right, general props. You can pick anything you want, anything on the board, whatever your little non-Ben Affleck heart desires.
There it is.
Who you got, Breech? What do you want to go with?
Well, we knew that I was going to have a field goal prop. Everybody's been waiting with bated breath this entire show for me to unveil my field goal prop. It is here.
I can't wait anymore. Please tell me.
I am going to say that the first scoring play of the game is a Chiefs field goal. It is plus 380. Here's my logic behind this. I think that if the Eagles get the ball first, that they're going to have that kind of Super Bowl jitters. That first drive, punt, boom, Chiefs get the ball, go down, get a field goal. If the Chiefs get the ball first, they've been there. They're not going to have the jitters. They'll drive down, but the Eagles have a good defense. And so I do think that Harrison Butker will score the first points just like he did in Super Bowl 55 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this prop has already hit once.
I am neither shocked nor awed that you went in the direction you went there.
By the way, I do want to point out, I think that one thing that, I don't think you mentioned this, I usually tune out whatever you're saying, but in case you didn't say this, I'll add that the Eagles feel way more likely to be aggressive on fourth down and to go for it if they are in a short yardage situation, even in field goal range. So I like the Chiefs field goal angle versus the Eagles field goal angle.
There you go. Brinson agrees
Didn't
with
see
that
that
part.
coming, did you?
No, that was the last thing.
By the way, as our boss Eric K mentioned, you're definitely more Casey Affleck than Ben Affleck. At least let's get the right Affleck. So my prop is going to be the first Kansas City player with a reception. And Brinson actually talked about this earlier. According to his reporting, Breech, Kadarius Toney could be very involved in this football game. So I think the first reception could be a quick screen, a little tunnel screen to Kadarius Toney out wide. Let him get going because he's been banged up with the injury. We know when he's healthy for Kansas City, not New York, he can do some damage, and I think that's a situation where you get him going early, take some of the pressure off of Travis Kelce, take some of the pressure off my guy Juju Smith-Schuster, who I hope scores a touchdown, and it starts with KT.
I dig it.
I like it.
I'm going to stick with the Chiefs, and I'm just going to go, this is not like a first reception or anything. I'm just going to, look, I'm, again, meat and potatoes. I know what I know, I like what I like, and I like Jerick McKinnon. Andy Reid has been feeding Isaiah Pacheco the last few weeks. Is it a setup?
He's playing mind games?
Is he playing mind games? Exactly. He might be playing mind games. He may be planning to go back to Jerick McKinnon. I think with Mahomes' ankle injury, with the pass rush that the Eagles bring to the table, much different. No offense to your Bengals. Eagles are a much better pass rush team. Third all time in terms of sacks. Breech, come on, grow up. This is a team you have to alleviate the pressure from Philadelphia. And the best way to do that, if you don't just want to get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands early, you can do it this way too. It's the screen game. Andy Reid, arguably, actually, it's not even arguable. It's just factually the best screen game play caller in NFL history. And in this game, he is going to use Jerick McKinnon early, often aggressively, get the ball into Mahomes' hands. Over 2.5 receptions, Jerick McKinnon, it's like minus 150. I think over 3.5 with plus money. I might prefer that. But over 2.5 is a stone cold lock.
I mean, him talking about Andy Reid outsmarting and swinging with the left hand and swinging with the right is classic Brinson game theory. He is digging deep in the book of game theory. This is fantastic, Brinson.
I did write the book on game theory.
All 3 chapters.
You got another one?
Oh, I do have another one. And guess what? It's another kicker prop. Look,
Boo.
I got all the kicker props. And this one is Jake Elliott, Eagles kicker, over 1.5 field goals. Now, as Brinson did just mention, the Eagles might be aggressive. They might be going for it on 4th down. But here's the thing with Jake Elliott is that he has never missed a postseason field goal. He has the 4th most field goals in NFL playoff history without a miss. So the Eagles trust him. They will not hesitate to send him out there. This odd is plus 100 there. I think Jake Elliott might end up hitting maybe 3 field goals in this game and comfortably go over the 1.5.
So, go ahead, yeah.
I was going to say, just as I propped up your KC first field goal, I'm going to point out that I like the plus money factor of this. However, again, I think the Eagles, even though they're favored by 1.5, they are the first. This is Nick Sirianni's first time here. Jalen Hurts' first time here. Nick Sirianni is a hyper-aggressive head coach. I would not be surprised at all if he bypasses the option to kick a field goal in order to try to go for it on 4th down, be more aggressive, try to get touchdowns. You don't beat the Chiefs with field goals. You don't beat Patrick Mahomes with field goals. That would have been one concern.
And again, with the coaching game theory, I'll say this, that look, the spotlight's on. The Super Bowl spotlight is bright, and that maybe Nick Sirianni will be just this much more conservative than usual, and he'll kick a field goal on 4th and 3 instead of going for it. But either way,
you can't spell YOLO without Nick Sirianni.
And you can't spell a winning prop without Jake Elliott.
Or John Breech.
Or John.
So I had Kadarius Toney as my first Kansas City player with a reception. Let's go to the other side. Swole Batman, Arthur Juan Brown is going to be the first Eagles player with a reception. And Brinson noted earlier in the show that he hasn't exactly set the world on fire in the playoffs. I think that changes. I think for the same reasons the Chiefs get Kadarius Toney involved early, I think they get A.J. Brown involved early to get him going, to open things up for Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, and even Jalen Hurts should he need to run the football. So I'll go A.J. Brown, first Eagles player to catch the ball.
You will not catch me disparaging an Arthur Juan Brown player prop. You better believe that. That is wide receiver 1 in our hearts. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes over. A lot of overs in this show. Boy, are we are so sharp. Over Patrick Mahomes, 38.5 passing attempts.
Ooh.
This can get, again, when you bet props in any game, but particularly in the Super Bowl, you want a prop that has multiple pathways to hitting. This prop can get there if the Chiefs roll, and this prop can easily get there and will easily get there if the Eagles have a lead, because Patrick Mahomes will be forced to pass. I think even with the lead, the Chiefs are not going to just get downhill and pound the ball with Isaiah Pacheco. I think they're going to keep letting Patrick Mahomes throw. They're going to keep having him dig and dunk, get the ball out quickly. They don't want his ankle getting banged up. And so quick hitters for Patrick Mahomes over 38.5.
I like it, Brinson. And you know what's funny is that you complain that we don't have enough unders, and then Wilson immediately fired back with an under. And now I've got an under. You're jinxing it every time. Here is my under real quick.
Breech under 5'4".
I'm over that. You lose. Just barely, though, by a quarter of an inch. The under is the 7.5 yards for the length of Jalen Hurts' first completion. And so here's what I think here is that, look, your first Super Bowl, you have those jitters. They're going to call something short just to get his confidence up, to get that first throw out of the way. And so I like this one going under 7.5 yards, and it's plus 130. So you're on the plus side if you bet this one.
Okay, I'm going to go a little different direction here. I'm going to go winning margin.
Ooh,
so
spicy.
1 to 6 points, plus 305 last time I saw it. I'm taking the Chiefs. So that sort of gives away the punchline about where I'm going with the game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Chiefs eke it out. They've won a lot of close games, Breech, not necessarily hitting the spread. So I'll go Chiefs within the margin of 1 to 6 points with the W.
Actually, I do hate that because I have the Eagles, and I need the Eagles to win for a big 38-1 bet to hit. Very quickly, I'll point out that while I also have Patrick Mahomes over passing attempts, give me Patrick Mahomes over passing completions, too. I think it's 21.5, maybe. That feels low. Whatever it is, I don't care. It's going over. We got some quirky props for you, too, and we're going to give them out after the break here on the Pick 6 Podcast Show on CBS Sports HQ. Welcome back to the Pick Six Podcast Show, presented by Expedia, made to travel. We're here on CBS Sports HQ, live in Phoenix, Arizona, the home of Super Bowl 57. Will Brinson, John Breech, Ryan Wilson, wrapping up our next to last show here, live from Cactus Land. Having a good time. Going to do some fun, quirky props. Got a little bit of time left. Let's dive right in. What's your first quirky prop, pal?
I have a great quirky prop to start off with. Look, we have two brothers playing against each other in the Super Bowl for the first time. We have one team that is from the city of brotherly love. So, of course, I have a brother prop. This is Jason Kelce total snaps played versus Travis Kelce receiving yards.
Jeez.
With Jason's number at plus 6.5.
What?
You're going to need some Brinson game theory to solve this.
Are you guys ready? So I have to explain this without it being too confusing.
Do you need a pen to do the math here? There's no way you can do this in your head.
The Eagles ran an average of 67 plays per game on offense. So if they do that in the Super Bowl, that puts Jason Kelce at 67 plays. And in that case, Travis Kelce would have 74 yards to win the prop. Well, I don't think he's going to win the prop. I think Jason Kelce is going to win the prop, and that he is going to be within 6.5 with his snaps played versus his brother's receiving yards. I think the Eagles defense is going to slow Travis down and hold him under 75 yards.
Brinson, I love that producer Austin says we have 5 minutes in the segment, and Breech talks for 4.5 minutes.
And it takes 5 minutes to explain my prop.
So my quirky prop number one, total players attempted to pass. This is pretty easy math. Breech, 2 is an easy one. 2.5 is the over, is the number. I'm going over that number.
I love it. And that's one of my favorites.
Because Brinson's all about trick plays, and especially with Andy Reid, so I'm going over 2.5.
And if quarterback gets injured, backup comes in.
It's conventional over 2.5 as well. That's right.
I'm a huge fan of the over passing attempts, players who attempt a passing attempt, because, look, we saw Tom Brady try to catch a pass. We've seen in the Eagles.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. That was terrible.
Yeah, remember the horrible. And then in that same game, the Eagles came. There were 4 guys in that game because we had Trey Burton threw one to Nick Foles.
And in last year's Super Bowl, which Brinson doesn't think is a top 15 of all time, Joe Mixon threw a touchdown pass.
It's not that I don't think it's a top 15 of all time. It's simply that I'm in charge of ranking the Super Bowls, and I ranked it outside the top 15. So really, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just not one.
And God just shoot your notes away.
Yes,
That's
God.
what he thinks of your take.
Yeah,
God is a Bengals fan, it turns out.
So I'm going to go without the use of my notes. I'm going to hope that the producers will throw up my prop on there.
Look at this guy.
I know one that I have. I have the under 3.5 total yards of Patrick Mahomes' first rush at plus 115. I think Mahomes will go under that number because he has a bum ankle, and they're not going to want to run him, and he's going to slide 3 yards out from the line of scrimmage. Breech, what's your next one?
This feels like Brinson trying to talk himself out of a ticket.
This is hilarious. All right, my next one is the team with the shortest field goal. Brinson's going to love this logic because he's been talking about how Nick Sirianni loves to go for it on 4th down. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs as the team with the shortest field goal. The Kansas City Harrison Butker had 7 field goals this season of under 30 yards.
Yep.
And so I could see the Chiefs maybe trying a 23, 25-yard field goal, and that will be the shortest in the game.
Okay, no, I like it. So I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles total sacks recorded in this game. The number is 3.5. That sounds crazy. I'm going over that number. They have had 3 or more sacks in 14 of 19 games, nearly 75%. We know they're going to get after it. We know they have Hassan Reddick, Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox. The list goes on and on. Josh Sweat. So I'm going over the number, Brinson, of 3.5 sacks.
I am fortunately capable of remembering things, even in my advanced age, and have remembered what my props were despite my notes flying off the set here. I'm going to say, yes, Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown pass in the 4th quarter. What say you to that, Breech?
What's the number? Is that plus money?
Minus 115.
Okay, that's still good. My next one is, will the game be tied after 0-0? I say yes on that. That prop is hit in 5 of the past 8 Super Bowls. And so I do think this game will be tied at some point after 0-0. That is minus 115.
It took me a while to get the math. Like, it can't be tied after 0-0. Yeah. Someone kicked a field goal and it's 3-0.
I had way too many math props with the Kelce thing, the tie thing.
All right, I'm going to go. The Chiefs called the first time out of the game. Now, it's minus money because the Chiefs have called the first time out in 15 of 19 games. So they have a propensity to do that, and sometimes it's just Andy Reid willing to sacrifice time out early to get the right play call in. I think that's going to be the case here in the most important game of the season. So I'm going the Chiefs. Call the first time out of the game, minus money, but it happens 3 out of every 4 games.
I am going to do something that I love to do, and that is steal content from Pete Prisco and play it off as my own.
All right.
Pete Prisco gave it out. He said, "What's Chris Jones to record a sack? I love it. I love it. Give me yes all day." So
what's the number?
Yes, minus 110. No, it's actually minus 120. We saw against the Bengals when the Chiefs beat the Bengals. I don't know if you remember that, Breech. They lost. The Chiefs beat the Bengals. We saw Chris Jones lined up as an edge rusher. Think we see him get a sack. Do you have anything else you want to say in the next 15 seconds?
Well, I think that this is a great opportunity for Jalen Hurts to have a big game, Breech, and that the kickers are probably the most important part of this game, if I knew what you're going to say.
That's not what I wanted you to do, but that's fine.
I couldn't agree more.
You actually don't get to say anything else. Make sure to watch and listen. Pick 6 Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, watch CBS Sports HQ with the devastatingly handsome Chris Hassel every day, live from Phoenix.